Hank, thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Consultant Corner. Our goal with this series is to offer high impact tips and practical advice to our viewers and the issues that they're grappling with.
Thanks, Carlos. I appreciate you inviting me and hope I can help.
Firms are in the midst of their 2022 budgeting. We thought it'd be useful to get your thoughts on what they should consider when evaluating outsourcing of a mock exam, co-sourcing, or full outsourcing of their compliance functions.
Yes, so this is the budget season. So hopefully firms are planning for their compliance budget for 2022. With the new chairman at the SEC, there will be some additional efforts to put some new rules in place. But from the perspective of determining whether to outsource, insource, co-source, it depends on the size of the firm, the time and availability of people that are at the firm, and the ability of the firm to actually capture all of the processes and reviews that need to be done. From the outsource perspective, outsource compliance can do targeted reviews of specific issues or reviews of the entire compliance program, doing a risk assessment and overall gap analysis.
What are the top three things that make an outsourcing partnership successful?
Well, first of all, it's the compatibility between the consultant and the firm themselves and the ability of the two parties to work together. That's key. The consultants are, especially when firms take the initiative and hire the consultant to look at certain issues. So the consultant is there to assist the firm to identify issues and provide practical resolution to anything that's outstanding, any finding or observations that the consultant makes. So first of all, it's the relationship. Second of all, it's the specific need. The firm should be able to articulate to the consultant what specifically they are looking for so that the consultant can lead into third item, pricing. Pricing is obviously key for a lot of firms. And there's two sides of the pricing, of course. One is the pricing from the budgetary perspective, if the firm has the budget in place, and hopefully they do. And then from, obviously the consultant and the consulting firm, they're in the business to make money also. So there's a happy medium that the parties should come to.
I think many of our viewers will find that helpful. Thanks, Hank.
You're welcome.
We know that nothing replaces relationships and expertise. We also know that technology tremendously enhances these partnerships. From your perspective, what advice would you give firms who are considering outsourcing compliance as it relates to using technology as part of the engagement?
This is the world we live in. Technology is key to any compliance program. Whether the firm has already purchased a technology solution or obviously something like BasisCode to help with the compliance program. If they're searching, working with their clearing firms in order to get those the reports that they need. But from the perspective of technology outsourcing, you want to be able to look for a compliance program or a program that fits your specific needs. What are you going to be needing that technology to do for you? So from that perspective, you need to know what is going in and then what's coming out from the report. So you need someone to work internally with the firm, with the outsourced technology firm, to set up the parameters of any reviews. And then also on the output side, you need someone to know what those reports are, what they should be providing to the firm, and how those reports are going to be helpful in the overall compliance program.
Looking into your crystal ball, what do you see happening in 2022 or any new trends?
So I think what firms need to be prepared for, especially in this planning for 2022 season that we're in and the budget season, is obviously from the investment advisor perspective, the new marketing rule and how that's going to be implemented at the firms from the perspective of testimonials. Are they going to allow them? Are they not going to allow them? Cash solicitation, how is that going to work? Because that has now been rolled into the marketing rule. The implementation of the DOL rule and rollovers, and how is that going to work? Is the firm going to take on the fiduciary responsibility? Are they not? And how are they going to discern between the two? And how are they going to train their their teams, their sales force, to make sure they fall within or outside of the line of the DOL rule and the PTE prohibited transaction exemption. ESG is a big thing now. Environment, social, and governance. Those are big factors that firms are trying to grapple around. How are they going to disclose what they're doing in the ESG space? How are they going to disclose what ESG is and what parameters they're using? Because there are no set parameters right now for what a good ESG rating is. There are several rating agencies out there, but there are no specific ESG guidelines. The SEC is grappling with it, so we may see some of that in 2022 with some SEC guidance, hopefully in 2022. Regulation best interest. Now, the SEC recently said that they are going to roll that into their exam program going on. It's not ongoing. It's not going to be a separate kind of sweep exam or anything like that. So everyone has to be prepared for the Reg BI, Reg best interest questions coming out of the SEC. Cybersecurity. I don't know where to put any one of these as number one. And I feel bad for in-house compliance people that are trying to figure out which is the number one top priority going forward. But cybersecurity, we all know that that's a big issue. Financial crimes and AML. And it kind of ties into the last thing I was going to bring up is digital assets. The digital asset space is exploding, and clients are going to their advisors and to firms and saying, okay, what are these things? Hey, we hear they're great. We hear you can make a lot of money. How do we handle this from a compliance perspective? And how does that tie into the financial crimes and AML programs? Just recently, Bates Group brought in a technical group that does a lot of this work around digital assets and financial crimes, AML. So we're really glad they came on board.
It sounds like it's more of a reason why to have access to professionals like yourselves and your team with that expertise. So when that issue comes up, you know where to go get an answer. Could you tell us a little bit more about Bates Group, your team, and your areas of expertise?
Sure. So a little bit about my background. I've been in and around the securities industry for over 35 years. I've been a regulator both with the SEC and with NASD, now FINRA, of course. I've been in private practice, and I've been in-house with different size firms. At one point in my career was CCO for LPL Financial. The Bates Group brings in people like myself with that kind of experience to assist firms with their compliance programs for broker-dealers and investment advisors. We also do regulatory support work, so we'll work with firms that are getting inquiries from the regulators on putting reports together, gathering data analysis, trading analysis, so that they can provide those in a cogent fashion back to the regulators. We also have experts that do expert testimony in securities arbitration and litigation, and assist with the hearing preparation and also depositions and testimony as it relates to arbitrations and litigation.
Bates Group is a wonderful team, and we're lucky to have partners like you. Thank you very much, Hank, for doing this.
I appreciate it, Carlos. Thanks.